mathematicians, so glad to see you. It's Miss Neighbors. Today, we're moving away from fractions and instead we're gonna work on how to write numbers in expanded form. Have you heard that before? What does expanded form mean? When we write a number in expanded form, we're writing the number showing its actual value. Place value helps us to write numbers in a shorter way that's easier for our brains to process. When we write the number 132, for example, each digit has its own value based on where it is in the number. When we write a number like this is called standard form. Let's look at the number in expanded form. The 2 is in the ones place, so it represents just the number 2. The 3 is in the tens place. How much does the 3 represent? What is its actual value? The 3 is in the tens place, meaning we have 3 tens. If we count by tens 3 times, what number would we end at? We have 3 tens, so we can count by tens 3 times, 10, 20, 30. So the 3 in the tens place represents 30. How about the 1 in the hundreds place? The 1 in the hundreds place tells us we have 100 or the number 100. When we write numbers in expanded form, we use their actual value to represent the number. In 132, we would write it as 100 plus 30 plus 2. Imagine if we wrote out the value of each digit as the entire number. 132 would be written as 100302. As the numbers got larger, it'd be difficult for our brains to process. So we use place value to help us condense numbers and understand them better. Sometimes when we're working with numbers, using their expanded form can make problems easier to solve or compute. Today, we're going to look at a problem where 2 friends are trying to make a swing for their treehouse using rope. There are 2 friends, Jose and Maggie. Jose has a rope that's 75 inches long. Maggie has a rope that is 127 inches long. They need at least 200 inches of rope for the swing. If they connected their ropes, would they have enough rope? I know that's a lot of information, so let's break it down into parts and organize it. First, what do we know about Jose? We know 2 things about Jose from the text. 1, they're trying to make a swing for their treehouse, and 2, they have 75 inches of rope. It's important to refer back to the text when we're working with word problems. The text tells us important information about the situation. Next, what do we know about Maggie? Similar to Jose, we know Maggie is trying to make a swing, and Maggie has 127 inches of rope. Who has more rope? Let's think about how we can compare the amount Maggie and Jose have. Let's think about these numbers in expanded form. How would we write the amount Jose has in expanded form? 5 is in the ones place, so it represents 5 ones. The 7 is in the tens place. What number does the 7 represent? 7 in this number represents 7 tens. If we count by tens, what number will we say? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So the 7 represents 70. So 75 can be written as 70 plus 5 in expanded form. Let's look at the number 127. The 7 is in the ones place, so the 7 just represents the number 7. How about the 2? The 2 is in the tens place. What's the value of 2 tens? Count by tens 2 times if you're stuck. Yep, you've got the idea. 2 tens is equal to the number 20. How about the 1? What number does 1 represent? The 1 is in the hundreds place. Yep, we have 100 in the hundreds place, so the amount is 100. Okay, now let's compare the numbers. When we compare the ones place, which is greater, 7 ones or 5 ones? Yep, 7's greater. How about the tens place, 70 or 20? 70 is greater than 20, but that does not mean 75 is greater than 127. Does 75 have a digit in the hundreds place? No, so we know 75 is less than 100 because there's not a digit in the hundreds place. So we know 127 is larger than 75. So Maggie has more rope. Now we need to think about if together they have enough rope. How do we know they're going to put their ropes together? What word in the text tells us this? Right, connected means to join 2 things together. How much rope do Maggie and Jose need for the swing? Look back at the text. According to the text, Jose and Maggie need 200 inches of rope. How can we figure out if they have enough rope? What operation could we use to determine if together they have enough rope? Yes, addition represents combining two amounts, which is exactly what we need to do. What would our equation be for this problem? Remember, an equation represents two quantities that have the same value. For example, 5 plus 8 equals 13 is an equation because on both sides of the equal sign, we have the same value. 13 is the same value as 5 plus 8. It's important to know that an equal sign does not just mean an answer is on one side. An equal sign is something we use in math to show that two values represent the same amount. So I could write the equation this way too. 13 equals 5 plus 8. Both of these equations show that 5 plus 8 and 13 are the same value. They're just shown in different ways, similar to how when we use expanded form, we're showing the same value, just in a different way. So back to our problem, to show that we're combining the ropes, we could write our equations a few ways. 127 plus 75 equals blank, or 75 plus 127 equals blank. We could also write the equations as blank equals 75 plus 127, or blank equals 127 plus 75. The order of the addends does not matter when we're adding because of the commutative property. The commutative property just means that we can change the position of our numbers without changing the value. In the example of 5 plus 8 equals 13, we can write 5 plus 8 equals 13, 13 equals 8 plus 5, or 8 plus 5 equals 13. Because I'm combining amounts, the value does not change. You also may have been wondering what the red triangle means in our equation. The red triangle stands for the total amount of rope. Since that number is an unknown right now, I used a symbol to represent it. Now that we know our equation, let's try to solve it. So first, let's try to estimate. When we estimate, we want to use friendly numbers that are easy to work with. Usually these numbers end in a 0 or 5 because it's easy to add and subtract with those numbers. So numbers like 10, 25, 65, 85, or 100. What's a friendly number that's close to 127? 130 is super close to 127 and easy to work with. 75 is already a friendly number since it ends in a 5. So let's think about how we can add these numbers, 130 and 75. Remember, we can break numbers apart into expanded form to make adding easier. How did we write 75 in expanded form before? Yeah, we showed 75 as 70 and 5, but we can write it in other ways too, depending on the problem. I could break apart 75 into 70 and 5, 50 and 20 and 5, 30 and 45, and many more ways. I'm going to break 75 into 70 and 5. Do you know why I chose this way? Here's a hint. What's 3 plus 7? Well, I know 3 plus 7 is 10, so 70 plus 30 would make 100. Since I have 130 plus 70, that would make another 100, which would be 200. Then I can add 5. So what's 200 plus 5? Yeah, 205. Awesome thinking. Just by estimating, I can see that Jose and Maggie have enough rope. When we made 127 into a friendly number though, we actually made the number larger than the amount we had. So now we need to adjust our total. How much more is 130 than 127? Yeah, 3 more. To make 127 a friendly number, we added 3, so now we need to take that 3 away so our total is accurate and matches our original equation. So when we look at the answer we got when estimating 205, we need to subtract 3 to make up for the 3 we added to 127. So do Jose and Maggie still have enough rope? Well, what's 205 minus 3? Think about 5 minus 3 to help you. Yeah, 5 minus 3 is 2, so 205 minus 3 would be 202. All we're doing is subtracting from the ones place, so that's the only number that would change. 205 minus 3 is 202, and 202 is more than 200, so they just barely have enough rope. How much rope would they have left over if they used exactly 200 inches? Yeah, if they used 200 inches of rope, they would only have 2 inches left. Not much left to make anything else. Wow, that was so much fun, and I'm always learning so much with you. Today we looked at how to write numbers in expanded form and how using expanded form can make problems easier to add sometimes. Expanded form just shows us the value of each digit in the number. We talked about friendly numbers and how those make it easier for us to add too. Something important we talked about that I want you to remember is that an equal sign does not mean to just write an answer next to it. An equal sign is something used to show that two amounts have the same value. So if you saw a problem like this, 8 plus 2 equals blank plus 5, think about what that actually is showing us. We want to show that two amounts are equal, so what number would go in the blank? See if you can solve it with someone around you. Before I go, I just want to say you all are incredible mathematicians and I have loved learning with you. Thank you so much for working with me, third graders.